The summer of 2021 witnessed a chaotic end to America's longest war. The U.S. military withdrew from Afghanistan, leaving behind Bagram Air Base. This strategic asset had been the heart of U.S. operations for 2 decades. The withdrawal was widely criticized. It was marred by logistical failures and a resurgent Taliban. The Afghan government collapsed swiftly. The Taliban seized control of the country, including Bagram. The geopolitical landscape shifted dramatically. The U.S. withdrawal left a void in the region. China, Russia, and Iran saw opportunities to advance their interests. The Taliban takeover raised concerns about human rights and the potential for Afghanistan to become a haven for terrorists. The world watched nervously, uncertain of the future. The Biden administration defended the withdrawal. It argued that the U.S. had achieved its objectives. It had degraded al-Qaeda and killed Osama bin Laden. It was time to end the costly and protracted war. However, critics argued that the withdrawal was premature and poorly executed. They warned of the consequences of a Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. The debate over the U.S. withdrawal and its aftermath continues to this day. It is within this context of a hasty retreat and a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape that rumors of a potential U.S. return to Bagram Air Base have emerged, adding another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. The world is watching, wondering if the U.S. will truly return to the scene of its longest war, and what it might mean for the region and beyond. Recent months have seen a flurry of activity around Bagram Air Base, reigniting discussions about its future role. Reports suggest that U.S. military transport planes have been spotted landing at the airfield, hinting at possible renewed operations. The Pentagon has been tight-lipped, refusing to confirm or deny these reports, leaving many questions unanswered. This silence has only fueled speculation about America's intentions in Afghanistan, with analysts debating the implications. Bagram holds immense strategic importance, serving as a critical asset in the region. Located just north of Kabul, it offers a key logistical hub for projecting power in the region, making it invaluable for military operations. Its long runways can accommodate large cargo planes and bombers, essential for rapid deployment and supply missions. The base also boasts extensive infrastructure including hangars, barracks, and a 50-bed hospital, making it a self-sufficient military hub. During the 20-year war, Bagram served as a vital staging ground for U.S. operations against both the Taliban and al-Qaeda, playing a crucial role in the conflict. The base's strategic location places it within striking distance of both China and Iran, adding to its geopolitical significance. This proximity has not gone unnoticed by U.S. military planners, particularly in light of growing tensions with both nations, making Bagram a focal point in strategic discussions. For China, Bagram represents a potential vulnerability on its western flank, particularly as it seeks to secure its Belt and Road Initiative projects in the region, which are crucial for its economic expansion. For Iran, a U.S. presence at Bagram could be seen as a direct threat, given its proximity to Iranian airspace and key military installations, raising concerns about regional security. The renewed interest in Bagram signifies a potential shift in U.S. strategy in the region, possibly indicating a more assertive military posture. While the Biden administration has repeatedly stated that its focus is on countering China and Russia, the situation in Afghanistan and the potential threat from terrorist groups like ISIS-K may necessitate a reassessment of priorities, balancing global and regional threats. The question remains whether a return to Bagram is the most effective way to address these challenges, or if alternative strategies should be considered to ensure regional stability and security. The potential return to Bagram has been linked to the resurgence of what some are calling the Trump Doctrine Redux, a strategy that seeks to reassert American dominance on the global stage. This foreign policy approach, championed by former President Donald Trump and his supporters, emphasizes a more assertive and confrontational posture towards both China and Iran, aiming to curb their growing influence. Proponents of this approach argue that the Biden administration's focus on diplomacy and multilateralism has emboldened both nations, allowing them to expand their geopolitical ambitions unchecked. They point to China's increasingly aggressive actions in the South China Sea and its crackdown on Hong Kong, viewing these moves as direct challenges to international norms and U.S. interests. Similarly, they highlight Iran's continued development of its ballistic missile program and its support for proxy groups in the region, which they see as destabilizing forces that threaten regional security. For these hawks, Bagram represents a valuable asset in this new Cold War. providing a strategic foothold in a region of critical importance. Its location allows the U.S. to monitor Chinese and Iranian military activities more closely, offering a vantage point that is crucial for intelligence gathering and strategic planning. It also provides a potential launching pad for airstrikes should the need arise, ensuring that the U.S. can respond swiftly to any threats. The Trump administration had explored the possibility of using Bagram as a base for counterterrorism operations against ISIS-K, but those plans were ultimately shelved due to shifting priorities. However, critics argue that a return to Bagram would be a mistake, potentially drawing the U.S. into further conflicts. They contend that it would further inflame tensions with both China and Iran, increasing the risk of miscalculation and conflict, which could have dire consequences. They also point out that the U.S. already has a significant military presence in the region, with bases in Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait, which can serve similar strategic purposes. Furthermore, they argue that a return to Bagram would be costly and logistically challenging, diverting resources from other priorities and potentially straining the military budget. The debate over Bagram highlights the ongoing struggle within the U.S. foreign policy establishment over how best to deal with the rise of China and a more assertive Iran, reflecting deeper divisions in strategic thinking. While there is broad agreement that both nations pose significant challenges, there is no consensus on the best way to address them, leading to a complex and multifaceted debate. A return to Bagram would signal a victory for the Hawks and a more confrontational approach to U.S. foreign policy, potentially reshaping America's role on the global stage. The Taliban's stance on a potential U.S. return to Bagram remains shrouded in ambiguity, leaving many to speculate about their true intentions. Publicly, the group has maintained a firm opposition to any foreign military presence on Afghan soil, reiterating their commitment to Afghan sovereignty. They have repeatedly stated that Afghanistan will not be used as a base for attacks against other countries, emphasizing their desire for peace and stability. However, there are signs that the Taliban may be more amenable to a U.S. presence than their rhetoric suggests, hinting at a possible shift in their stance. The group faces a myriad of challenges, including a crumbling economy, internal divisions, and a resurgent ISIS-K, which threaten their control. A U.S. return could offer significant benefits both in terms of security and financial assistance, potentially stabilizing the region. The threat from ISIS-K poses an existential threat to the Taliban's grip on power, challenging their authority and control. The group has carried out a series of deadly attacks in Kabul and other cities, targeting civilians and challenging the Taliban's ability to provide security, which is crucial for their legitimacy. The Taliban lacks the air power and sophisticated intelligence capabilities needed to effectively counter ISIS-K, putting them at a significant disadvantage. A U.S. presence at Bagram could provide valuable assistance in this fight, offering advanced technology and strategic support. Furthermore, the Taliban are desperate for international recognition and financial aid, which are crucial for their survival. The country is facing a humanitarian crisis, with millions facing starvation and a lack of basic necessities. The U.S. and other Western nations have frozen Afghan government assets and imposed sanctions, crippling the economy and exacerbating the crisis. A deal that allows for a U.S. presence at Bagram could pave the way for the resumption of aid and the easing of sanctions, providing much-needed relief. The Taliban's calculus is complex, balancing their ideological opposition to foreign interference with the pragmatic need to address pressing security and economic challenges, which are becoming increasingly urgent. A U.S. return to Bagram could be a lifeline for the struggling Taliban regime, but it would come at the cost of ceding a degree of sovereignty and risking a backlash from hardliners within their ranks, who may view this as a betrayal of their principles.